This week on the podcast, Carrie and I are joined by our friend Chris to talk all things Disney Immersive. What's it like to enjoy some Disney at home in Toronto, Ontario? And is this experience coming to a city near you? Stay tuned to find out. You're listening to the Pixie Dust Fan Podcast. Hi, I'm Francine.
And I'm Carrie.
We're two best friends who can't stop talking, usually about Disney stuff.
Sometimes we have fascinating guests, and sometimes it's just us. But it's always positive and fun.
We're happy to have you join our chat. Thanks for listening, and let's get started. Hey, Carrie.
Hello.
Hello. How are you doing?
Fantastic.
Excellent. Okay. You're giggling already. You know why? Because we were chatting before we started recording, and I had to cut you off because we have a great guest with us today, and you two were like, blah, 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 and I had to stop you.
And then you told us to zip it.
I told you to zip it and talk about it on the podcast. So Chris Bond is here with us. Welcome to the show, Chris.
I was just waiting to say it when I could talk because I didn't want to interrupt because we were having fun, and we were having fun before. We were talking, and you were like, "You're wasting all this good content, Chris."
Yeah, we were talking good stuff.
What are you doing? Thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure to hang with you too. And
well, you've been on the podcast before, and because we met through your podcast, the We Like Theme Parks podcast.
That's right. Yeah, and on the Chip and Co podcast network. Wink.
Can you put a little ding,
ding? Yeah, how many times I say it on the show? Yeah.
Yeah. See, this is when we need the sound effects, Carrie.
Right.
Working on it.
Right? It's so fun. Chris, we got to see you most recently. We're going to thank you for inviting us to your show. You have this fantastic show in Toronto right now. Like Disney at home. Like we have Disney in our city.
It's crazy, right? Disney, not only is it a Disney show, but it starts right in our backyard. Isn't that crazy?
It does. It does. So you thank you very much for the invite. Carrie and I came, and it's the immersive experience. Like, is that what you call it? You just call it the Disney Immersive Experience?
It's called the Disney Animation Immersive Experience.
Okay, that's the proper word.
Yeah, I got really lucky. Because, we all know each other from our Disney community.
Yes.
But, sometimes we don't talk about the things we do outside, for money.
Yes.
Things that pay the bills, the bread, the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches on the table.
Yeah. I do, and I get fancy peanut butter, too, with, like, crunchy kind. So
That's what I was just going to say, the crunchy kind?
Yeah. I ain't going smooth. What? No, we're going to crunch. You're going to spend that. Or whipped. You ever have the...
Oh, I like the whipped. Yeah, Whipped is mine. Yeah.
So
okay, bring it back.
That ain't free. So yeah. So I work in the arts, and I work in I direct a lot of stage shows, and I write, and I do a bunch of other things in the art space in Toronto and abroad. And a company that I work very closely with, Lighthouse Immersive, partnered with Disney to create a project, and I don't even know They said, we want you to be a part of this. And I was like, oh my, what? What? Me? Yes. Because I was the person at Lighthouse that spoke Disney. And it was, just a really amazing opportunity to collaborate with so many amazing creators in, of course, Disney, first of all. And J. Miles Dale and David Corrins and Coco Lab and so many amazing people that made this show. And what is the show, you might be asking?
Well, yeah. So describe it.
Yeah, it is an immersive Disney animation experience, which is just the name of the show. If you have seen, Lighthouse Entertainment did Van Gogh, the Van Gogh.
Yes, I saw that.
Carrie went to that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, amazing!
It was awesome.
What'd you think? Okay, awesome, good. You weren't like,
it was amazing.
Garbage. Okay, great.
No, I loved it.
Wonderful. Well, these guys did that first, and they've done a bunch of immersive experiences. And I believe what was happening was they were asking the audiences, like, what would you want us to do? And overwhelmingly, Disney. And it was, I believe, J. Miles Dale that was able to kind of bring Disney and Lighthouse together and create a partnership where, Disney had seen Van Gogh in LA, and they thought, hey, like these guys could do this together. So let's bring this together. And I don't know much about what happened in the background. All I know is they said, this is happening. You're flying to LA and you're going to meet some people from the Disney Animation Studios, and I was like, "What? Say that again, slower."
Seriously, like as a Disney nerd, you must have been freaking out.
I was trying to keep my cool to make sure they didn't know. I was like, but I mistakenly wore my Tron T-shirt, and I was like, I think I outed myself with my Tron T-shirt. But it was really cool. They brought me in to be a part of the group that curated the content, which was really exciting to help kind of craft the story and go through all the clips. Because, really what we're doing in this show, in this immersive experience, I don't even think I've said what it is yet.
No.
We're basically thrusting you into the art of Disney's animation and some of your favorite storytelling moments. And we're kind of weaving a bit of a hero's journey, but really it's putting you in some of those moments and locations from Disney films, and it's exclusively the art from the films, which is truly amazing. And then we create levels of immersion with so many fun tricks. We have interactive floors, we have, bubbles and snow and all kinds of different things that happen, and it's a 360 experience. And listen, we're giving you the characters, the classics, the new stuff, the Renaissance stuff, all your favorite friends, and feeling those feelings that you would when you watch a classic Disney movie. Thrusting into an adventure, trying new things, exploring, having fun, exploring new worlds. Meeting some villains, maybe villains, bad things happen, but then you rise up and defeat them, and then you wish on that star. And there's just so many magical moments in Disney movies, and we wanted to be able to explore them in a 360 space. And now we have an opportunity to with the Disney Animation Immersive Experience. And wow, it was crazy to just be a part of this. And then going down to the studio and meeting some of the team over there in the Disney Animation department and who we'd be working with. And then my job was, all right, Chris, you know all these movies. So what's what? Like, what are we going to put in this thing? And the people obviously we have people at Disney, and Darren Holland's a super talented part of the animation team over there, crafted a really nice thing to get us started, like the backbone of what this show would become. And it was a fantastic leap to begin this show, and just kind of an idea. And we were on the same wavelength as far as like giving you that classic hero's journey. And then from there, J. Miles Dale and the team, we all started to kind of work through all the animated features. Like, this was a celebration of the art of all of Disney's features. So we were cruising through all of them, trying to find some of the best content, some of the most stunning visuals, things we could do in this space that would really work. But also, we're not trying to tell a story, but we're trying to make you feel a story, give you those feelings that you would have when you watch a Disney film. And I like to think that we were really successful in bringing some of those favorite friends of yours and moments and music and feelings from those Disney films to light in this humongous gallery space. And we've been open for a few weeks now, and people are really enjoying it. And we're still working it, because when we opened it, when I saw you on the first day, it was our first ever preview. It was the first time
it was pretty cool.
Yeah, flip the switch on this thing. So we're still trying to make it better, and we're listening to what our audiences are saying and trying to add and make it even better. And we're starting here in Toronto, and it's going to be all over the U.S. and maybe even other places too. And so we're really excited about the possibilities. And I'm so thrilled to have you guys there.
We were so excited. Mm-hmm. And I got to tell you, we had a ball. Like, Carrie and I, you talk about feeling the stories. And we did. We were like, oh, look at that, and the bubbles and everything. We were singing, we were dancing, we had a ball. Like, we had a really good time.
Oh, I'm so glad to see. And I saw you guys, mucking around with the interactive floors and just things happen. Like, you're thrusted into these worlds. Like, you get an opportunity to be in the casita in Encanto.
Yeah.
Interact with the casita, with the floors, and you get to be in the Darlings nursery, and pixie dust is at your feet, and you're walking around floating on pixie dust. really incredible, fun stuff, just magical moments that we could kind of bring to life and make you feel a little bit more connected to some of those really iconic moments from just Disney storytelling history. And everyone has their own connection to it. You know, like I'm of the age where the Renaissance was like meant a ton to me. And, you know, that's what got me really interested in Disney. And then I was like, oh, look at all the classics are amazing. And then all the new stuff is amazing. But, you know, Disney has really something for everyone. And we really tried to make sure that we brought that to the table. So everyone got to have that nostalgia moment or that relatable moment for them. And so for me, it's like the Renaissance, it's Aladdin, it's Beauty and the Beast, it's some of those Renaissance faves. Princess and the Frog. Does that count as Renaissance? Like the end of the Renaissance, maybe? I don't know.
I don't know. I love that one. But we were dancing and singing to Zootopia because that's like one of my favorites.
Is it? Oh,
yeah.
Yes. So this show is pretty. It's special to me because it was also just because Disney trusted us for this collaboration. And to be clear, like Disney is 100% involved with this. This isn't us taking this away and building it. We curated all the content with Disney. We structured the show, animated the show. And the thing you need to remember is that everything you see is a piece of Disney art, whether it's a background or any kind of little piece of animation that we could use to create the worlds, to create the characters, is from the Disney animators, which is pretty special.
So how nerdy was it to go there and start to like curate this content? How did you keep a lid on your, for lack of a better word, nerddom?
It was tricky. I was the one who was most like, oh my God, even just getting to the animation studio, like I'm there with my boss and J. Miles Dale and my boss's assistant, and I'm like, and they're like, let's have another meeting. And I'm like, you know where we are? You know, I've always wanted to come here, and now you're paying me to come here? Come on. This is the greatest. So, it was really like, you know, going back to, is like going to the temple, you know, like the Church of Disney. Like, this is where it all started. This is where these incredible storytellers, you know, weave these dreams, and walking around the offices and meeting some of the people that put this thing together, and just so many talented artists there. And they have something, I don't know if I think I can talk about this. They have a place called the Caffeine Patch. It's like their cafeteria, but it's really like, it's a place where you can get a coffee or you can do some work. It's like a very open, modern kind of like, just come here and like, you're going to have a conversation. Maybe you'll be inspired. You'll talk to some people. And you're just chilling, and there's like Ray Conley over there, like, you know, guys like incredible producer. There's all these people you recognize and know from like Disney legends, just hanging around, and you're like, whoa. And my boss, they don't know any of these people. I'm like, oh my God. And the amazing team, Dorothy McKim was one of our leads, and she was really great at like taking us around. She gave us the whole tour of the animation studio. And introduced us to everybody. And we actually worked in the studio for a week with Darren, and we were working with Kent Gordon, who's an amazing technician over there, who just, his job is just dealing with all this art. So you'd be like, Ken, I need lightning. And he'd find you lightning from like 3 different movies, and you'd see which one works the coolest. And just really an amazing team over at Disney. And under the stewardship of J. Miles Dale, who's an incredible producer who works with Guillermo del Toro, and is, you know, J. Miles Dale is an Oscar winner for Shape of Water and so many other projects. He's been an amazing leader. I've learned so much from this incredible producer. Just being able to hone all these different creatives together and to get us to weave this story together. Truly amazing. But yeah, it was really hard for me to keep my cool. That when we did the tour of the studio and went to Walt's office, I mean, that was kind of special. Yeah, that was like...
Oh my gosh. Okay, so describe what it's like.
It's like exactly what you think it's like. It's Walt's office, exactly like you remember it and you've seen, and all those old, you know, those the Disneyland specials from ABC, like it's exactly the same. It looks the same. Like, and they actually repurposed it to put it back together. Like when they were, obviously when Walt passed away in the 60s, it was a bit dormant for a while, but then they were like, we want to kind of reclaim this space, make it back to his, the years when all these ideas and movies were flowing through this office, and this was kind of the heart of the whole studio was this room. And they really did an incredible job, like putting it all back together. And it is like a museum. Everything is there. All these areas where he would work, not only his office with his desk, but right in front of his desk is the piano that the Sherman Brothers would play him the jams on. And you could just picture them like playing Mary Poppins jams, going like just like the movement, right there. And I'm in that room, Oh, it was crazy. And then he has other rooms. There's like a kitchen in there. They have like a secret kitchen that they showed us. It's just incredible. Like this man was in there working, and about 10,000 ashtrays, by the way. There was also.
Oh my gosh.
Kind of funny. But yeah, it was truly inspiring to go in there. And not only did we get an opportunity to see like Walt's office, and we, walked around the studio, we looked at the multiplane camera, some really amazing stuff, but we also got a chance to go to the ARL, which is the Animation Research Library. And this was the holy grail of holy grails. Picture every pencil test, every hand-drawn background, like every cell, every little piece of material that they still have is in this museum, in this vault of treasures that you can't just walk in and go. You have to get invited and take a tour. And we were fortunately able to walk through and see all the art, and it really helped inspire us on a direction for the immersive experience. And I mean, as a Disney fan, there's things that you see that you get excited about that other people are like, what the hell's that? Like, I remember I'm looking at this piece of art and I'm like, oh my God, that's from Humphrey the Bear. That's Humphrey the Bear. That's his cave. There's a picture of it, and I got excited for the Humphrey the Bear cave, and everyone's like, who's Humphrey the Bear? And I'm like, what? You don't know who Humphrey the Bear is? He's obviously important if he's here on this wall, Anyway, again, all these different Disney things, they speak to everybody differently, and we all have our faves. But yeah, the animation studio truly, truly was incredible. And then the ARL almost topped it. Walking through and watching actually the animators, what they do now is they take all that old art and they kind of like, not Photoshop, what's the word? I'm like, they screen it, they scan everything. And they have these huge digital scanners that so thoroughly scan this art, this hand-painted art. And now it's digitized so Disney can use other things or access it so it's, archived digitally as well. And that process takes forever because there is so much art. And it's a really intricate process. So still, they're working through their catalog, going through, and we got to meet some of the technicians that are very slowly like scanning all this art. Wow. And I believe this actually, the ARL tours some of their incredible collection. I know there was a show in Philadelphia recently. But if you ever get a chance, if the ARL is ever in your town, it's a must. Because, I mean, if you're a Disney fan, you get a chance to just see slices of incredible Disney history. So truly inspiring, but then that really led us, and we got to see some of Ivan Earl's stuff and Mary Blair, and we were like, how can we integrate this in the show? This art is beautiful. These backgrounds are gorgeous. We need to work with these. Let's do a section on New Worlds. All the inspiring, everything's firing, and it was really magical. And then of course we went to the parks. We did park day, but I was like, everyone I was with was like, oh yeah, so tell us about this. And I'm like, guys, I can take you around. I know this place pretty good. Where do you want to go? So we wanted to catch a couple of some of the more projection based things. So maybe that would be some inspiration. But it was an incredible trip that led to a really incredible work process, and having a chance to work with so many incredible people, including, I don't know if I've mentioned yet, just the animation team from Coco Lab, who, once we kind of crafted and curated the content, meaning like, here are clips from the movies we want to show, here are songs we want to explore and the worlds we want to explore. and then this amazing team from Coco Lab, and they're a Mexican-based animation studio, would take that content, get the like raw files and the high quality files from Disney, and they would build these worlds and build our show. And so it was really a chain gang of all of us kind of communicating and working together. And then David Corrins, who is famous for making among other things, he's famous for a lot of things, but he built the sets for Hamilton. That's where all his designs, and he's Tony Award winning, super talented guy. He's done a ton of stuff. And he built kind of our pre-show, like our kind of, I don't want to say like the educational experience, but kind of before you go into the vault and see the show, there's a pre-show experience that covers all the animation, and you get to walk the path and see the animator's desk and learn about the artists and the process and about the craft. And that's a ton of fun. And he did a beautiful job bringing that to life and creating like a space that not only can you learn, but you can interact with and play. And there's things you can do in the space, and take a picture with Anna and Elsa, draw a picture of Goofy, all kinds of stuff. And then you go inside in the show. So this isn't just a show. It truly is an experience where you have a whole Disney buffet of fun, whether it's craft and learning, and then this experience where you're thrusted into the Disney worlds and hanging with characters and music that speak to your heart and give you those feels that you would when you're watching a Disney film. And then you walk out of there and you're like, well, I guess I better go to Disney World again. I mean,
you may as well.
I don't know what I'm going to do, or just go watch this thing again. So
you skipped over the shopping. Like there's the you get to take the pictures, you get to see those.
There's a gift shop.
There's a gift shop. Like you did the whole Disney proud. You had a gift shop there too.
Well, I mean, it's it's kind of Theater 101. Yeah. Well, you tell me as a patron having gone. I mean, you guys walked through the show and then you landed on the merchandise at the end. I thought the merchandise was fine, and we're continuing to put more new merch in as well.
Oh, there's new stuff.
We're continuing, because I know people wanted some. We're still curating the stuff in the shop, but we had some really cool stuff there. But as far as the experience for you guys, the different levels of it, like how did you feel about the pre-show experience versus the show experience, and then kind of the aftermath coming out into the merch? Did it feel kind of like a ride, or did it feel like a movie? How did it feel for you guys?
I loved the pre-show. Like the one thing that I noticed was I loved how it told like the full story of like the story of animation, but it showed animation now. Like it showed all the current animators, and like so it told the history, but it was showing like, a full story. Like it was like usually you just see the history of the old men and the old stuff, right? Like I like how it showed like who's there now and who's making a difference and who's designing and being creative and working there now. Like not just the history. Like
that was important.
Carrying forward the story.
Well, because even the stuff now is a part of history. Like all they're all so different, and the animation styles are so unique, and every artist brings their own style to this work. So, and there's so many movies that are so revered and stories that are revered by fans. It's important to highlight as many of those animators as we could and those artists as we could. And
giving them a spotlight, you don't have to wait to be a part of history, to be recognized and to be showcased and to be put, in front of everybody.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So, we wanted to highlight some of the amazing people doing things now. And of course, the process and how these things get made, and some of the people that got it all rolling. And so, I'm so glad to hear that had that effect on you. That's great.
It was great to see that all come together, and we had a great time taking pictures, talking about each of the different things that we were experiencing before we went in.
And then you go into the magic vault and stuff happens. Magic happens.
Yeah.
Maybe he says hello.
The vault was awesome. That's a great. It was a great idea to walk through a vault.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm of the age where the Disney Vault was a thing, right? Like we're putting this movie back in the vault, and I'm like, no, how am I going to watch it? Well, the only way you can watch is if you buy the double, box VHS set. of the black hole before it goes into the
diamond edition or whatever.
The diamond edition with extra features. No, don't put it in the vault. I need this.
That was awesome.
And it would disappear. So what if we got to visit the vault and all the treasures inside? Mm-hmm. And that's something we get to explore in the show. And then a little bit of magic happens, and we get to make a wish and be thrusted into an incredible adventure of all your favorite Disney stories. Let me ask you guys something. So you got to see this. Was there any character or favorite moment from Disney that you love that wasn't in there? Were you like, it was great? Man, I just wish there was, I don't know, a little bit more Black Cauldron.
No, I normally I'm always like Zootopia doesn't get enough love.
Yeah.
And then when it came on, it was like, oh, they have Zootopia. It was that was pretty cool.
Zootopia's
amazing.
Yeah.
I think I was amazed with how thinking about what was chosen and how the heck you pick out of everything. How you pick what's going in and how you pick which scenes. When you said that guy's I need lightning, and I'm and the minute in my head I was like, does this is there a Disney Google? He's lightning. He Googles it. He goes in the Disney database and boom, he's going to give you 3 things of lightning. How on earth do you determine which scenes and what of everything that's there? Sure, it's a long show, but there's a lot of stuff crammed in there. So how do you find which sections and which areas and how that's what I was thinking in my head. I thought,
right.
Yeah, I didn't think, I wish something was there. I liked how there was a lot of different characters, so many different characters. Like you said, it touched everything, right? Depending on where you, where your life fell in the Disney, timeline.
Yeah.
But I kept thinking, how on earth how did they pick that, or why, or that scene, or that, how do you get to that point? That's what I kept thinking. That's what was churning in my brain.
I think the approach for us was we wanted to give you the emotional ride of going through a story, the highs and lows, meeting new people, going on this adventure, becoming a better person, overcoming some kind of, obstacle, hurdle, having loss, rising up, all the things from a classic Disney story. But with that, we would find moments from, the catalog of incredible Disney stories, this treasure trove of incredible work that paired up with those moments, with those feelings, and then some of them were we feel like this song represents that emotion or that moment in a story. So we want this song. And other times it was, we would have a medley of clips and experiences in and amongst, a moment. And Try Everything is a great example that's in our story, our Zootopia section, because that story is about someone going off on this adventure and going for what they want and going out on their own. And I feel like that happens in a lot of heroes' journeys. You set off on that adventure trying to fulfill that dream. You have a dream and you go for it. And so we thought Judy's mission or story of the train ride going into Zootopia, where she's leaving her little town and going to the big city and being overwhelmed by the sights and sounds, we thought, well, that's very indicative of beginning a hero's journey. So we found moments from other Disney films that also had that experience. And then, so that's kind of how the curation process kind of worked. So that was a lot of Ian J. Miles and Aaron Goulas, who and Darren Hollins and Dorothy McKim, and everybody had feedback. We would come together with ideas and clips and concepts, and then we would discuss them and get rid of things and we'd add things. But it was a process, but it was a definitely a fun one for me. I mean, I love all these films. And so we just curate. And as far as your Google search, there are some films that, are CG. So they have assets that are kind of banked. And I don't know how much I can talk about this, but they have their own archives and their own kind of digital archives that they have. So you can access some of this content because they might use it again for what have you, whatever it's a TV special or another show or whatever it is. But Disney doesn't throw out anything. They put something on a piece of paper, it goes somewhere, and now it's a treasure. So and that is also digital. Like all their digital stuff are treasures. So
as a Disney expert, did you have to sometimes like convince them from your Disney perspective why something should be included versus maybe, you know, if you had a bunch of, you know, you're looking for some things to integrate in that scene and you're like, well, it should be this and this and this and this. And did you have to ever explain from your Disney fan perspective?
Well, the good news is that you're also working with Disney, so they can.
No, but like in your like when you guys were curating, like from like when you're brainstorming and figuring out what goes where, like you're doing that with Disney too, like the when you're trying to figure out which pieces to put together to tell the story. Like you know that you're gonna have the scene with the Judy Hopps, but then you're gonna have all of the other stuff kind of integrating through the song and things floating and flying through the air and whatever that was going along on the screen. Like to say that, you know, that's also that type of. The same type of story or whatever. It's
a collaboration of everybody. I mean, everybody had an idea, and we would build off that idea, and we'd collect scenes and talk through them, and then we do our own edit, like our own cut of what we thought the content would be, and then the animators would take over and see how we could explore that edit. Because we're not just, it's not like you're going in there and watching a big movie. We're all of these scenes and art is explored in a 360. We create different worlds with the art, and we bring you to different places and make it more of an experiential thing. And it's not just like, you can watch the movies at home, but if you want to be in it, this gives you the opportunity. So really it was certainly a chain gang. It was all of us kind of collaborating and putting our ideas forward. And for me, I spent the most time working with J. Miles Dale, who's amazingly talented and has an incredible storyteller in his own right. Great eye. You know, hey, what do you think of these scenes? And he's like, this one. You know, and he had a great eye for like, this and this and this are going to look good together. And then he would do it, and I'd be like, yeah, you're right. But I'd be, it would be better. What if we added this one? Be, oh, yeah. It was really fun and collaborative.
That's awesome.
Because, I was a little bit more familiar with the content, but Miles is an incredible storyteller. So he would take the content and tell a story with it. And the Disney team we're all working on it. We're all having feedback and new ideas. So it was really beautiful. It was really fun. And, we all love this content. It's all revered. We're all passionate about it. And it matters to us, so we want to create the best experience and story. But it's funny, what's the most important thing, to someone like me, it's like story. But the animators it's experience. Like it has to, you don't want to just pick a clip because it's a clip. We want to pick art that is really going to work well in an immersive experience, in an immersive way. So does that, scene like really apply well to a projection experience? Like, is it something we can pull apart and create an incredible experience out of? So those were questions we'd have to ask. So we have to rely on the animation team to be like, this scene, we like this scene, but, and we had to find clips that sometimes were long. Like we need big, long clips. So little clips don't work. So it was really an exercise in like really working through the animation process and working through all the content and finding stuff that works. But then these animators from Mexico would take the content or take the pieces they would get and create these incredible worlds. So, and the Disney team was so collaborative, and they knew their stuff backwards and forwards and had really amazing content to share and great ideas. Because they're obviously, premium storytellers, wow. So it was really special. And to be able to be just the Disney fan that worked at Lighthouse, that's a director and amazing. A writer, to be able to become a part of it and to collaborate with like so many incredible talents and heavy hitters was really special. And so I got to just tell you, if you're a Disney fan, this is coming from people that love this stuff. So if it's in your town, check it out. And
what towns? Why
don't I tell you what towns? So here's what's up, friends. It's going across the U.S. It's playing in Toronto right now. So you can see it in Toronto. But if you are, if you're of the U.S. persuasion, Boston, Columbus, Cleveland. We're opening Cleveland this week. Denver, Detroit is very soon after. Las Vegas, Minneapolis, Nashville, San Antonio. And those are the ones that are just announced. More are going to be coming. So look for the Disney Animation Immersive Experience in your town. Check it out. Have a blast. And it's for everyone. The kids will love it. They're going to stomp around on these floors. You're going to be moved by the stories, by the moments. And it's a slice of Disney in your hometown, which is really lovely.
So amazing.
Yeah.
It really is. It's nice to have Disney local. Like to have an experience, a true Disney experience local that you can drive downtown and park and go to it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's I know Francine, Carrie. I know you guys go to the parks a lot. Like, what would you say? Maybe 3-4 times a year? Would you say? Maybe more?
Maybe more.
I try to get down at least once, a year. So now the fact that I could just drive down the street, take the subway, go see this,
it's cool.
It's pretty amazing, and it's you get a little bit of everything. Like I feel like it satisfies everyone in the family. Grandma is gonna connect with all the classic stuff, and the kids are gonna see Big Hero 6 and Encanto and the dancing, and and whatever middle-agers like me are going to be like, Aladdin, cool. There's just something for everyone.
That's what we're going to be doing.
Yeah. And Zootopia for you.
Oh my gosh. We danced to quite a few little, like, we were all over the place. It was so much fun. We really had a great time.
I really appreciate you saying that. And it's funny that you never know what people are into, right? Like, you guys are like, oh man, Zootopia. Yes. And I have my favorite, because I'm a bit of a Disney weirdo, right? Like, I like Treasure Planet, so I had to really advocate for some Treasure Planet.
Like, that's part of one of my question there. Like, exactly, like, how is that? Like,
how did you get that in there?
Really Treasure Pals?
They were just going to do it because of me. Like,
you had to sell it. You had to sell it to tell them how it fits in.
Like, without giving too much away, there's a scene that's like an experience of flight, and it's more of the emotional side of the flight. It's kind of the feeling of freedom and the wonder of flight, right? So, it's not just people zipping around flying, but it's people feeling flying for the first time. Like the first time Hercules gets on Pegasus and zooms around. By the way, I love Hercules. So there's or in Treasure Planet, Jim always feels free when he's flying on his sailboard, and that sailboard is just also so damn cool. So we wanted it in the flying section. There's not a ton of Treasure Planet, but I did find myself advocating for like Atlantis and Treasure Planet, and
you brought it to their attention. They might not have thought of it otherwise.
No,
right?
they know, but they're just they're aware of all their stuff. But yeah, just everything had to make sense, like emotionally and visually to these parts of the show. And something like Treasure Planet really lent itself really well in like a certain sequence. But yeah, not in most other sequences.
That's awesome.
We got the good, we were able to, we also wanted to make sure that we, again, picked the most visually stimulating things, and then also some of the most emotionally impactful things. So, you could feel and you could be wowed and you could feel like you're in it. And so, yeah, curating the content was a lot of fun. And I would say at the end of the day, we're all very happy with where we landed. But we tried to get like as much classic, like
you did.
I was really pushing. I was like, okay, what can Saludos Amigos? What can we get in from Saludos? What can we get in from Make Mine Music? It was, I would say that most of the movies are in here.
What did your kids say? What was their response? What did they say? Because they were there on opening night.
Yes, they've been a few times now. They love it. They're like, I'm like, I got to go to the show tonight. They're like, can we come? I'm like, no, can't work if you're there. They love it. They had a blast. Again, a lot of characters and a lot of moments that really resonate. I would say that my kids are 5 and 7, so they're really interested in like the floor, the technology on the floor. So there's stuff happening in just about every song, and they're up and moving around and running around, and like, they see something and they're stepping on it, or they're chasing stuff, and and there's other kids are zipping around, so it becomes like really great energy in the room with these kids zooming around, and then they see the characters that they love, and they're dancing and singing along to songs that they love, including Try Everything. Thank you very much. It's really special. Like the first time, they've seen it a few times, so they know it's coming. But the first time they saw it, just seeing their face when like the lava, oh my, am I supposed to be saying stuff from the show?
Yeah, don't be giving it away.
Spoilers.
But there's cool moments from the show and to see their face and be like,
yes.
Whoa. They're like, Dad, oh my, whoa. And I'm like, right? Pretty cool, right? This is what this is what your dad does for a job. They think I'm a podcaster. Daddy's job is podcasting. I'm like, no, it's not.
That's not what pays the bills.
Yeah. By the way, we like theme parks on the Chip and Co podcast network. Check it out. If you want a Disney laugh, that's us. It was special to have them and see them be really excited about it. But
for sure.
Cool to see just lots of people walk in there and you see their faces. And they get a chance to explore. And whether it's young kids or just like even couples, you see people on date night there, and there's a couple of romantic moments, and it's a fun, playful place to be. And it really does connect with everybody to sort of witness those interactions, and it is truly special. It is really nice.
I'm so excited to see the success in all the other cities. Are there any cities it's going to where you want to go and experience it there? San Antonio, by the way, is so fun.
Oh yeah, I've only been to Texas once, and it wasn't San Antonio. I think I'm going to some of these, but not all of them.
Maybe a little Vegas in there.
You never know. Wherever my boss tells me to go, I show up. And but what's unique is that every gallery is different, right? So the show will feel different in every room.
I was wondering about that too, right? Like, because that space is a special space that we have, and I thought, I wonder, what they look for in a space, because they wouldn't be able to always get something exactly like that. Like, we're in the old Toronto Star building, right? Our newspaper.
Yeah,
newspaper.
Which is really cool. The old Toronto Star and on the old building there, which is incredible. And historic too. It kind of feels like, oh, this is kind of special. And then we made it into Disney Vault. But yeah, every city, the gallery is unique. So the show is mapped in a unique way. So I think the experience will be a little bit different in all these different places. I'm excited to see some of these other venues. And the animators have been working tirelessly, and our production team, our amazing production team, to prep the show. Like, you don't just flip a switch. You have to build it for each room. It's kind of made to order, so it takes time, and it takes a lot of work from our incredible teams from everywhere, from Disney, from Coco Lab, from Lighthouse, from DeMilo Films, J. Miles Dale. Everybody's hustling to get these things up, and so it is truly a really unique event, and can't say enough about it. If you get an opportunity to go, check it out. I think you'll really enjoy it. And if you're in Toronto and you liked it, you'll see, you might see me walking around there. So say, hey, guy walking around with a We Like Theme Parks t-shirt. It is me. That's awkward.
What were we counting? Were we counting the winks?
Oh, yeah. The winks or the dings or
dings on the Chip and Co podcast network. Subscribe. Give us a review. Why not?
Yeah. I love it.
I can't say enough how I appreciate you guys coming and enjoying, and I feel like you guys truly capture the spirit and the fun and the warmth of kind of what we're going for, right away.
Well,
to hear you share that sentiment is really lovely.
Well, it's funny because that night it really was the press event. You had a lot of press there, so there were people that were there from the press that not necessarily Disney fans, and then you throw me and Carrie in the mix, and you can see some of these people walking around with their phones and their cameras and their notes or whatever. And then here's the two of us goofballs in the middle dancing and singing. And we were having a ball. We didn't care.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
It was still a fun night. I was
so
thinking the same thing. I'm like, oh, there's all these media here. They're just but now they were cool. Everything worked out. Everyone had a really nice time. And it was beautiful. But listen, the show, we continue to work on it and make it even more amazing. And if you get a chance, check it out. I don't know what else I
Yeah,
can say.
I'm gonna put the link in the show notes so that people can go to the website and look for their city and keep checking, because like you said, there's other cities that may be added in the future. So you want to keep an eye on the website and obviously if it goes somewhere else and there's another city, I'm sure you'll hear about it on this podcast that Chris has mentioned a couple times that he's on.
What's the name of that podcast again?
What's the name of that podcast? The We Like Theme Parks?
There you go. Where can I find that podcast? Where on the what?
Well, that would be the what is it? The Chip and Co Network
Yeah,
or something?
There you go. Yeah, there you go. But if you want to check out the show times or the show where it is, it's lighthouseimmersive.com. And that's where you can find, you just type in immersive Disney in your Google, it'll pop up. But it's on the Lighthouse Immersive website, and that's the easiest way to see what cities and what times and where you can buy tickets and all that cool stuff. And there's the odd promo happening, so you jump in on that if it's if you're into that. If maybe the idea would be to follow them, Lighthouse Immersive on Instagram, because whenever they have a promo, they publicize.
They post it there.
Post it there.
Got it.
That's a spot. You want to save some money.
Nice. Now, Chris, before you go, we gotta talk about Pixie Dust, but we're gonna take a quick break because Carrie and I are doing this on purpose to get our little jingle in.
Let's do it.
If you're a Disney fan, then you should listen to Carrie and Fran. They laugh and chat and help you make a plan. If you're going to Walt Disney World or Disneyland, and you will become a Pixie Dust fan.
Because we can't just figure out how to place it in. We have to announce it every time.
Okay, so we're back.
We're back, Chris. Now, what's your Pixie Dust for this week?
A Pixie Dust for my. Well, you know what? I just had a cool experience. Does it have to be a Disney? It doesn't have to.
No,
anything.
No, it can be anything.
Well, then I had a really pixel dusty, yeah,
We'll take it.
Experience, and I just got home yesterday from Great Wolf Lodge. I spent 3 days and 2 nights at the GWL in Niagara Falls. Yee-hoo! With my kids, with my screamy kids, and my wife, and another couple and their screamy kids. And I gotta say, we had a great time. Talk about getting some Disney style theming, not to the lengths of Disney, but maybe halfway there. In a water park, it was really nice. It was way more fun than I thought it was going to be, and it was comfortable, and the staff was amazing and very accommodating. And I even I was on a meal plan and I lost a coupon, and I was like, oh no, I lost my dinner coupons. And no problem, Mr. Bond, here you go. Oh, thank you. Great service, great experience. And my kids, again, when you have kids and you see them get excited about things, it really gives me the pixie dust. And
it does.
Kids, they have something at the Great Wolf Lodge. It's called Magic Quest, and it's kind of like a knockoff Harry Potter wand thing. You walk around and you wave a wand and stuff happens. I got to tell you, I spent probably a good 9 or 10 hours stomping around the lodge, waving this wand at crystals and chests and wolves, and my daughter just being like, Daddy, we got to slay the dragon. There's literally quests you got to go around. And watching my kid get a charge out of that, pixie dust, baby.
Nice.
That's awesome.
How about you guys? You have some
That's
pixie
awesome. Carrie,
He's been here before.
He's been here before, yeah. Carrie, you want to go next?
Yep, I do. I will. My Pixie Dust is a new podcast that I've been listening to for the last couple of weeks.
Here we go.
It's called Fly on the Wall, and it's hosted by David Spade and Dana Carvey.
Oh my gosh!
If you grew up in the late 80s, 90s, early 90s Saturday Night Live era, they have guests on from way back when. Almost every guest was on SNL, and they talk about their story, funny jokes, things that happened, how they started in their career, being stand-up comics, whatever. It's just awesome. And they talk about Chris Farley a lot, and it's just amazing, and it's a lot of fun, and it makes me giggle. And I've been enjoying it. I've probably watched more episodes than I should. So instead of listening to our Pixie Dust fan podcasts and giggling at them, I've been listening to Fly on the Wall. So if anybody's SNL fan, a hardcore SNL fan, I don't see how you wouldn't like these episodes. So
sounds
put
awesome.
put them in the show notes.
I'll put because it's important that we promote them.
They need the help.
I want the Saturday Night Live. I want the SNL fans to, if they don't know about it, to give it a listen.
Well, remember we were talking about spamming all sorts of potential guests. Should I just I'll spam them and see if they want to.
Maybe.
They want
You know
come
what?
on the show?
They've done an episode where they do a Q&A. And so it was one of their latest episodes. It was a Q&A. And they actually, like, people emailed in questions. And they actually had these people on the call. Like, I'm like, they can't be too, like, they legit brought people onto the podcast to ask their questions. And I'm like, that is so weird. Like, these are two very successful, famous people, and they bring in somebody to ask their question about, like, what's your favorite episode you ever did on SNL or whatever. And I thought, well, that's weird. Like, but anyways, so maybe if they're taking random people sending Q&As in and they're putting them on the podcast, maybe there's hope.
Okay, quickly, what was your favorite Dana Carvey character on SNL?
Oh, I like the church lady. And Wayne and Garth.
Special.
And Garth.
Isn't that special? Nice.
Like, who doesn't love Wayne and Garth?
Everybody loves Wayne and Garth.
Satan?
Yeah. That wouldn't be prudent. Isn't that what that is?
Yeah, wouldn't be prudent. I always loved this bush.
Not very special. Wouldn't be prudent.
I like this bush. Not gonna do it. That was always my favorite.
Yeah, they talk about all there's so many stories that they tell, and and it's just unbelievable. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, I bet. And those guys were kind of there, kind of different times. Like Carvey was there a little earlier. Mm-hmm. So you probably run a really good 10 or 15 years of SNL stuff.
Well, the newer ones that came on looked up to him, right? So a lot of the stories are he was there first, and I listened to the one the other day was Martin Short, and Martin Short was on for 1 year. So they're talking about how they all fit in and how they knew each other and their journeys and how they got there and whatever and how it affected their life. Like, you think back then they got paid peanuts, and they were all they got on the show to be writers, and they got paid I don't know, a few $100 a week or whatever, to be writers, and the stress they had and how the journey of them becoming what they are and what SNL gave them. A lot of them, they were just 20 years old, 21 years old, and they were given this opportunity. And you look at Adam Sandler now, what he's he was this a 21-year-old or whatever. Maybe he wasn't even that old when he first got on Saturday Night Live, and look what he is now. And it's just neat to hear their stories and their journey.
Sandler on the Cosby Show, because he was on the Cosby Show, I think.
Was he?
Look it up. Yeah.
He was Theo's friend.
He was Theo's buddy, and you're like, is that Sandler?
No way.
Yeah. It's incredible. Yeah, anyways. I mean, it's the most amazing show. Well, that sounds like an awesome podcast. Definitely want to check it out.
Yeah.
What about you? Podcast? The We Like Theme Parks podcast.
When I'm not listening to Fly on the Wall, I'm listening to the We Like Theme Parks.
Carrie can do a commercial for you.
My Disney fix after Pixie Dust Pod. I look to. Yeah, absolutely. How about you, Francine? What was your Pixie Dust this week?
My Pixie Dust this week, it was ginormous, pretty Pixie Dust for me. Yeah. So at the Unmagical job, the one that pays the bills, not this one.
Yeah.
This is just, the labor of love, as we were talking about. I have someone that worked with me that I had brought in who ended up resigning. She's going to a new job. And, she wanted to meet me before she left. And she said, I just want to give you this gift for everything that you've done for me, blah, blah, blah. I was like, whatever. I haven't done, she's amazing. I didn't do nothing for her. It was a Dooney. She bought me a Dooney purse.
What?
I almost fell off my chair. She's like, you have this black one that you bring to work, and I thought you could use a white one. So it's so funny. It's the one Carrie and I were arguing about, where I was saying you can't wear it after October or whatever. It's exactly that one. And she bought it for me. I literally could have fell off my chair. It was so kind and so generous.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Isn't it so sweet? I was now I'm afraid to use it. I don't want to ruin it or whatever, but it would be such a good park bag, but I won't wear it in the parks, obviously. But yeah, it was pretty cool.
So here's what I'm thinking after you tell that story. Nobody's giving me stuff. So my friends are either garbage or I'm not a nice person. It's one of the two. I don't know which one it is, but I'll figure it out.
Oh my gosh. Well, I can tell you that my friends at work, there are lots of people at work who don't want to work for me. So to get a gift like this for somebody that did, it was like, this doesn't make sense, but I'll take it. Thanks.
But thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, that's great. That's so pixie dusty.
It's so, you know what? It tops my chiropractor, Carrie, that she was making.
Was that yours, Carrie?
No, that was mine a couple of weeks ago.
I don't know. I could go for a chiropractor appointment. That'd be all right.
Sometimes you just need it, right?
We prove that pixie dust. We prove week after week after week after week that there's pixie dust everywhere.
There
in
is.
Your life.
If you just look for it.
You just gotta look for it.
Do you do the thing with the chiropractor where they put that kind of like towel under your neck and then they pull it up and your neck pops and you're like,
I wanted him to do that, but he hasn't yet. So
you got to slide him a 20 or something.
I got to ask him to try that.
Maybe you got to warm up. You got to go for a couple of them before they start doing that.
Yeah.
Give him a Finsky. See what happens. Hey man, look under the pillow. There's a Finsky for you. Pop my neck.
Thank you so much, Chris, for joining us this week on the podcast. And we will absolutely be watching to see where this experience shows up next and where you are going to be. So when you're going to be at the shows in different cities, we can't wait to follow you along and see where it takes you.
Well, thanks so much. I just really appreciate you guys coming to the opening night and being so excited. And it was such a, like, you hit it bang on. Like, there was so many media, and then you guys are like, and so it was really great to have your energy in the room and to be a part of it. So thank you so much for having me and for just being a part of this. Thanks.
And of course, everyone will find you over on, that podcast on that network, right? Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Thanks for listening to the Pixie Dust Fan Podcast. We hope you enjoyed the episode.
Make sure you're following us on your favorite podcast player so you'll get a new episode every week. And find us on social media too. We'd love to hear from you.
Till next time, remember, you are never too old to be young. Chase your dreams and design your own happily ever after.